All right, this is the July 13th, 2022 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is Katie Barron, and I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati today, and I'll preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZH20220094. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. The public will have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. If there is more than one person opposing an application, those persons should decide amongst themselves the length of time each will have to speak. If an opposition group is in attendance, I may request that a spokesperson be chosen to speak on behalf of the group. If the applicant is represented by an attorney, the applicant's attorney may cross-examine any person who has testified at the hearing. If a party of record is represented by an attorney, the attorney for the party of record may present witnesses after the applicant has presented its case and may cross-examine any person who has testified at the hearing. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to an application, the applicant shall have an opportunity to rebut the testimony and/or argument offered in opposition. After an applicant has been given an opportunity to rebut any testimony and/or argument offered in opposition, any attorney for a party of record will have an opportunity to make a closing statement. Finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make a closing statement. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony or documents. This means evidence you want to introduce that consists of a statement made by a person who is not present at this hearing or a document that includes the statement of a person who is not at the hearing. In the event of any technical difficulties while the video conferencing technology, I may continue or postpone this hearing at my discretion. Now, at this time, if anybody who's going to be offering testimony could unmute themselves and then raise their right hand, I'll go ahead and swear everybody in. All right. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
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 Perfect. So we can begin with the applicant, whoever wants to talk first.
I can speak first I know Jim Bronzi's the applicant, but I was the architect preparing the drawings and application. I just want to mention that we did work with Trey Sheldon, hello Trey, early on in the design process to massage the building, to a comfortable level of design in order to comply closer to the alignment of the zoning standards. I do realize we're asking for a relief in the rear of the building for the height of 6 feet 4 inches and some for excavation also for some deeper foundations. I just want to mention that the design of the house primarily follows the intent of the zoning code and a lot of the neighboring houses on the west side of Ida Street, where the grade and the topo elevation is higher at the street level, and then approximately drops off, 10 to 12 feet on the west side of the property as the topos drop down. So many of the existing houses have, walkout basements at the rear, or walkout cellars. On our proposed house, we're just proposing to have some window wells at the rear. And we did originally have a walkout basement proposed, but working with Trey, we decided to eliminate that and raise the basement floor by a foot. And then we also lowered our first floor level by a foot from our original design. So this helped get the front of the building down a foot below the maximum envelope requirements. So it helped shave off another foot in the back. And we also pulled the rear decks in about 3 feet. So that helped us get up get up the grade in the back of the house, so we weren't asking for as much variance in the rear. Originally, I think it was like 9 feet variance request, so we got it down to 6'4". But also the new house is also the first in a series of 3 houses, a small development where we were originally going to apply as a development and then average the height of all of the houses together, which would have helped us because the north property, neighboring property at 1227 Ida Street, I think it has a 48-foot rear height. So we would have been able to average that stepping down across the 3 new houses. So our only ask here would have been about 4'4" at the rear height for this proposed house. But since we didn't originally submit it that way, we'll just start with the 1221 house and work our way up the street. But I believe, it primarily conforms with the intent of the zoning code, but I do understand the hillside houses, it's hard to maintain that 35-foot. And I did want to mention the primary area of the lot is flat. It has an existing garage on it that'll be demolished. And it's just the back, say 10 feet of the house where it takes a sudden drop off. If you look at the Cage's topo, you can see how quick the back of the lot drops off. So we did pull it in from the maximum building, a rear yard setback at the rear, about 2 feet 8 inches. So we're not even out as far as the maximum setback in the rear. So that kind of helped us with the height request at the rear, also eliminating the amount of height we needed there. So, but I can't answer any other questions. I know it's kind of complex, but going back and forth with this.
You're fine. And so is the garage currently used that's on the property?
I don't believe so. I think it's, and Jim Bronzy might answer this. It's the former owners owned that.
Yeah, it's been vacant. We bought it from the previous owners, maybe a year and a half ago now at least. And I let them keep some stuff in storage there, but right now it's currently completely vacated with all their old furniture and everything is out. So it's a vacant building.
Okay, so you'll be revitalizing and putting to good use this property.
Correct.
Okay. And then the house that is proposed, that kind of matches the character in the area of taller 3-story homes. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And then for the excavation that was going to be performed on the property, is that in any way going to have any effect on the stability of the hillside?
No, it will not. No, I mean, it'll be supervised by a geotechnical engineer during construction. So all the construction excavation will be, inspected at the time of work is happening.
And are you requesting the minimum amount of excavation on the property necessary?
Yes, the 2'4". Yeah, it's really just up at towards the front of the house where it just gets a little bit deeper.
All right. Anything else from the applicant before I open it up to the public?
I don't have any other comments unless you have any questions.
I think you answered them all so far.
Okay.
So I can open it up to the public, and I don't know if Trey has anything that he wants to add.
Sure, just a couple of confirmations of things. This is very much in keeping with the streetscape to the north on Ida. The second statement I think I could bolster a little bit is that they have basically dug the minimum necessary to have a garage at grade and yet still have a suitable ceiling height in the basement. There's really no other way you can do that without and accomplish that at the same time. You can't have the garage drop down below and drive down into the house. So and have it still be upright by the street. So In addition, one thing to kind of add to what Chad spoke to, there is some stepping to the foundation, but this is almost entirely carried on piers. So we don't even consider that to be excavation, and it will definitely help with the hillside stability because those piers go all the way down to where they can hit limestone or bedrock and carry that weight down further. So really, if this was done with traditional foundations from back in the day, it would be a massive amount of excavation, but it's not. They're doing these drilled geopiers, so it should be minimal disturbance. And then the last thing I wanted to note is that this is kind of the last of the Mohicans. There is no other, once these 3 lots that Mr. Bronzy is developing are developed, there will be no more development on south of there. That is a green space, a dedicated green space to the south of here. So basically where the windows for Mr. May's home are going to be looking southward, that's all going to be maintained as green space. Lastly, as Mr. Bucket pointed out, he did not, they're not even going out to the maximum envelope in the rear, and they aren't touching the back part of the lot. That'll remain vegetated. So they just need enough to get a silt fence in there for the actual construction itself. So I think approximately the back third of the lot will remain vegetated and all the way down to where it adjoins the green space.
Thank you.
Katie, it's Jim May, the future owner.
Yes, yeah.
I'm smiling at the team. They've tolerated me for months now as we get closer. I wanted to thank everyone. Trey let me pop in one day and talk to him about the project.
And you got to get your Buckeyes hat.
Yeah, I got to get my hat back. I left that
get your Buckeyes
so you wouldn't
back,
forget me. I built a house in Los Angeles on a 60-degree downslope. And I just wanted to share with you guys, you're being more careful than they were there in terms of making sure we comply with everything. So we appreciate it. My wife and I are looking forward to moving into the city for, these years in our life. And we just want to get going. So I think it's going to add positively the streetscape, and I'm trying to make you smile, but I think we're going to be the most compliant house on the block in terms of any height issues. So thank you for considering this. And Jim's promised me he's going to get in the ground right away. So I know you're busy, but if we could hear from you soon, we would love that. And I'll shut up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anything else from the applicant?
No, just thanks for your time. Really appreciate the meeting here. And I think, the months and months of kind of designing and massaging this, as Chad put it, we're really trying to establish kind of routine that's already there on that street. When you look at the back kind of view from the air, you kind of see how ours just kind of blends right in and keeps in line with all the other neighboring homes. So I think what we're asking for is relatively minimal compared to what's been granted up there in the past to Mount Adams. In fact, projects we've done in the past, Mount Adams, that you guys have approved have been, we've asked for much, much more than what we're asking for today.
Just on a timing note, gentlemen, and especially Mr. May, I'm going to be gone for about 2 weeks. I haven't taken a vacation since last September, but it usually takes about 2 weeks for these decisions to be issued, and I cannot approve the permit until the decision is formally issued. So, but I can promise you that the moment that I return, if the decision's in my inbox and in the email, I will immediately approve the permits. And I did want to ask Chad, have you gone through everything with the building plan examiner? Are you good there? Or?
Yes, we have a request for legal services on the easement on the lot to the north. So I think he's waiting to hear back from David on that review.
Okay.
But everything else has been signed off on.
David should be out for a while, so I don't know whether Ms. Barron can see if somebody else. I don't know how long.
Okay.
That might be a consideration.
Okay, I'm not sure who he sent it to. Yeah, he usually sends it to him, but I don't know if someone's covering for him. Yeah.
It's just a thought, because that could hold up the,
Okay.
could fly in the ointment, kind of, because David's out for paternity leave.
Do you know if you emailed Cassandra Manes
No, the Mark Abbott, the plans examiner, he requested me to send it directly to him, and then he was going to forward it to the law department.
Okay, hopefully,
Yeah.
so if you want to follow up on it, David's on paternity leave. So
Okay.
I don't think he's back until the end of August, beginning of September. So you may
Okay.
want to double check that it wasn't sent to him. Because I don't know.
Okay, I'll double check with Mark. Yeah, I just actually sent him another email this morning, make sure he sent it out. So I'll talk to him soon.
This is why I was asking you the questions I was, because I don't, you know what I mean? We get through all this with zoning and then find that we're stuck in something else for a month. And I know Mr. Bronzy and Mr. May don't want to see that happen. So I'm just.
So
that's the reason-
Trey,
that's the reason I know.
again, this, we appreciate everyone's hard work, but we're trying to get in the ground so we can close it up before, winter.
Yeah.
And so tell me again, if Katie sends out her decision, shortly, when are you not available to pass it along?
I'm out the next 2 weeks, starting tomorrow evening. I'll be gone for 2 weeks, but what I'm getting at is that may well be irrelevant, because what will be holding it up is the building plans examiner with the requirement for the easement. That will probably, I'm just asking that Mr. Puckett or maybe Mr. Bronzy, whoever, follow up on that, because if it was sent to David and he's out for paternity leave, you're not going to get your approval from the building plan examiner. That's all I'm getting at. So for me, it's
Okay.
2 weeks. It's 2 weeks, and so my return from the trip should dovetail perfectly with Ms. Barron's decision issuance. But the other thing is it's not a zoning issue, right? And so that has to do with, I think, with the ability to get in there and do work on the project while on another parcel. And so that will, and there may be some kind of easement with regard to, I don't know, because it's a building plan exam question, but I definitely am strongly suggesting you follow up with somebody in the law department, so that's not just sort of sitting on the shelf waiting for David to return.
Yeah, I'll talk to Mark and see who he's sent it to, or make sure he sent it to somebody, because he has to request the legal services. I think he has to fill out a form to request the law department's review. So
that is correct.
Make sure he just didn't send it to David's inbox. Yeah.
All right, well, if there's nothing else, I will end the meeting. We'll go off the record, and you should get a decision from me within 2 weeks.
Thank you.
All right,
Great.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks. Thanks.
all.
Goodbye.